And all right, so today, Cali Move, week 14. This is the final, or 16 week. This is the final phase of Cali Move um, for beginner section. Okay, so they got 5 sections of Cali Move. I have bought the first 3, I think. So this is the end of beginner. Now, I don't know what part 2 is called. It's not beginner. It's like beginner intermediate. I don't know. There's 5 sections. So what is it? Beginner, beginner intermediate, intermediate, intermediate advanced, advanced. I don't know. But either way, they call it. There's 5 sections. I have 3 of them, and so I'm excited to see what phase 2 is going to be like, or the second part is going to be. I I have found that part 1 is exceedingly easy. Yes, there are challenging parts, and I do believe I've improved on some of these items, but I don't believe I've actually gotten to. I mean, there are things I've gotten better at. There's no doubt. There are things I'm not good at. I mean, pull-ups in general, doing them correctly was not my thing, right? So I already knew that before I even started this, that I was going to be having to get through the doing pull-ups correctly part. Okay, so I always did pull-ups the way most people do pull-ups, where they go down about 70, 80% of the way and then they come back up. So they never disengage or they never fully extend their arms, and that was me. Uh, then I did full extensions and I started finding, wow, these are really hard. I can only do, I was going from 20 to 25 to 4 to 5 because my back wasn't all that great at it. Now I can do, if I'm fresh, 10 to 15, 16. I mean, I'm back up. I mean, I've almost strengthened my back to do full length pull-ups um, at the similar ranges, but I can actually do them correctly now. So, I have my moments, but ultimately I've been doing 12 to probably more like 11 to 13. I mean, the gap is pretty small depending on how fresh I am or how I'm feeling. Um, Today is essentially an easy day. This whole week should be an easy week. I don't want to do it that way. I don't like these. Okay, so as you can see on there, it shows 4 items with 5 to 10 minute rests in the middle. I mean, these are essentially meant to be non-workout. They are just a test to see where you're at. Probably a good idea to at least do a warm-up. You can't see the entire Cali Move page, but when you're on there now, as I've switched into a new phase, every phase is 4 weeks long. Um, what this will do is test you for 3 days, and you basically do 4 exercises a day, 1 set, and you're done. I'm not gonna do that. That's not. I mean, I guess I could do them and then do something else. I don't know, but as it's already 7:30, so of course I'm already running late, so I don't know how much I'm gonna get done. But I'll probably do some extra stuff of some kind, just because. In fact, these are all pretty far apart. I mean, one is mostly abs. One is, I mean, the two closest related ones are the body row and the leg lifts, only because you're pulling or holding your body up with your arms. And you could actually do, when you do these, there is a set of these little trainer videos, which you can't see the whole thing because I have it clipped. But this is like body rows. It goes through, it tells you what you can do. Like with push-ups, you can do hands together push-ups, like you can kind of see in that image. Uh, but like when you do the hanging rows, you can do parallel bar rows, which I've done a lot of times too, which is basically straight arms holding you up with your arms straight out and front out, and then your legs kick forward. So I like to do the hanging, but again, if you're really testing the strength of your core, oftentimes your grip is going to give out before your core does. The key element here is straight legs. It's real easy to bend your legs and do a few extra. I am really bad at the straight legs. I'm just bad at it. I can do it if I really focus, and I'm gonna try to do that and see how many I can do. But there's a big difference between even a little bend in your legs and straight legs. And when you see these guys do it, they have their legs perfectly straight. There's a big difference in locking up that core and getting everything to tighten up when you're doing truly straight legs. So I'm going to try and do hanging rows the best I can. We'll just see how many I can do. To me, part of hanging rows, actually hanging and doing them, there's you could do it with your arms bent and such as well. But again, you're trying to learn to strengthen that fully extended location of your back, formation of your back. So kind of get that as down, try to be as extended as possible and really engage that core and see if you can get your abs to work. And one of the things I've noticed that so far, the Cali move hasn't focused a lot on your abs at all. Um, there's been a little bit, I mean, you do a little bit of the trunk raise, you do a little bit of, early on, you do a few things, or you're doing a little bit of the bear crawl crunch. This does that. This last phase is going to do some more of that. It's the baby, baby, baby. It's the barely beginner. I mean, it is the beginning of beginnings type ab workout where you have your legs bent and you're just doing a bear crunch. Um, there's no real extension in your legs. I mean, you can. That's one of the progressions. The more you extend your legs, the harder it is. And you're doing crunches. Ultimately, you got to start getting more abs in there. You're going to try to, I mean, abs, obliques, uh, and your hip flexors, all that stuff is so key in being able to be good at a lot of the calisthenics moves. And I feel like they haven't focused enough on that. I mean, they're really building the major muscle groups to be able to do like the pull-ups and the stuff you're going to need to do pistol squats. They're building up a lot of the big muscles that are required for that stuff, which is great. And in doing that, you're getting a little work in those areas because they're support muscles. But I feel like they need more focus. And hopefully that's going to come. That's probably phase two. I don't know, where they're going to really start cranking out on your core. I I feel like too they're not doing enough exercise variety. It's a lot of repeaty stuff in this beginner section. And so I'm really looking forward to something different in the phase two to see how much more challenging it is, to see what they're doing different, and to see if what would it's hard to say for sure, but if I had gone straight to phase two at the beginning, would I have been able to do it? How would I have fared? Would it have been, was beginners really necessary for me personally? I don't know. Because there are things that I'm not great at, and maybe that would have mattered. Like maybe a full length pull up would have been the things that we do in the next phase would have been too hard without having gotten better at full length pull ups. There is one exercise that I really struggle to get the maximum of the range, which you'll like with the one we're doing today. Um, well, let's see, none of these are that, but like with push-ups, I'm usually sitting pretty close to the top of this, especially when I put on my weight vest. It's kind of hard. I'm usually doing 20, 25. I've gotten up pretty high now on the scapula push-ups, and I try to get to full weight where I am almost do, I'm trying to lift as much of my weight as possible, which means I go forward as far as I can to the point where I'm basically just on the tips of my toes. My body is minimally supported by my feet. And so I try to get those as much as I can. It really works on the shoulders, and it helps a lot for me to really focus on getting that strength and getting that scapula push-up in, and just really trying to train for what I think is going to be the eventual end goal of not having your feet on the ground at all. So I got to really build that. I do note that as of yet, I don't feel like my core is engaged at all during a push-up. Even when I do that, I mean, yes, I'm trying to keep myself tight. I'm engaging it, but it doesn't feel like there's any real strain. And obviously there's going to be massive amounts of muscle strain as you try to lift your entire body up, where your body's got to hold your legs out. And I don't know how they're going to progress you into that. I'm curious how they're going to progress you into being able to lift your lower body. Because I don't feel like anything we've done, Superman's kind of, but it doesn't feel like a thing that, I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't feel like I'm actually holding my body up. I mean, yes, that does from the glutes point, but you got to be able to do it from this whole midsection of your back, like, back here. That's got to be able to lift your body up. And I just feel like that part isn't getting the training it needs. And again, it could be that the Supermans are helping. I don't know. We're gonna find out. We're not there yet. Probably we're months away. Probably phase 3 before we start really seeing any of that. We'll find out. I'm looking forward to phase 2. But hey, before we can go to phase or part 2, I gotta finish part 1, and that's this month. I could try to accelerate it, but I don't know if I will because I start too late. You see, it's 7:30. I should have started at 6:30 to get myself a good chance to get through a couple of these. I wanted to do 2. Maybe I'll have to do 2 on Wednesday, but we'll see. All right, here we go. Let's go do my testing. Um, what else? Let's see. I'm trying to think how I want to intertwine this. Um, but yeah, let's just get started. I'm not going to use my heart rate monitor again. Um, it's going to be interesting. I'm just trying to decide if I want to do a warm up, but I don't think I have time if I want to do 2 of these. I'd like to get 2 days of this done so I can start looking at moving on to week 1. But that means I can't do a 5-day rest either, 5 to 10 minute rest. So, ooh, yeek, running out. Watch needs a little juice. Trying to decide if I want to start off cold on these. Maybe I should do a quick short set, just to do a couple of these things, do them all a little bit, just to warm up, and then I'll come back around. And all right, so I got to do stuff both on the floor. Yeah, I don't know. Setting up the camera for floor work and not floor work is kind of challenging. So I'll be doing the rows. I'll be doing the push-ups. I'll be doing switch lunges and overhead raises. And I am just let's just let's just start warming up. I'm going to spend a couple minutes at this, just trying to get my arms moving, get some blood flowing. Just try to, it's always hard to figure out my own warm-ups. They have a warm-up on here. It's 20 minutes long, and I don't want to spend that much. I'm going to do kind of what is it? A saggy warm-up. Saggy is the guy who does the Body Beast workouts. Um, the Body Beast workouts on Beachbody, and they're great. And one of my favorite weightlifting ones for home gym exercises. But right now, I just want to actually, all I'm really trying to do is get my blood flowing a little bit, get the get the blood going through my arms and shoulders, because those are going to be mega activated. They're going to be the primary form of exercise. You see, I'm doing pull-ups, push-ups, and pulls, body rows. I don't want to exhaust my muscles. Just want them to feel like they're warming up, like they're getting a little bit of something going. Warming up, getting that rotation. One of the ex One of the things they say are good for your back, especially if you have a tight muscles like I do. You just pull. Just use a band like this, go around. I try to do it so it doesn't hit me, but I'm not, again, my shoulders are pretty tight, so I have trouble with the whole, see, like I can't go back very far here. So you're supposed to go around and forward, back, and rear. Hey, Clarky boy, how you doing? Is this what you're looking for? What, the Cali move or calisthenics? Right. Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I tell you, Cali move. Okay, the reason I started doing this one, I chose this one over all the others, is because I found. Well, there you go. This you will probably like. Now, the Cali move, as far as it goes, they have five phases, five levels, right? So you start off with beginner, and then they have like an intermediate beginner and intermediate. There's five, and it's a 92-week program. It's a long program. But you got to think calisthenic moves, the muscle ups where you pull up and then push down on a bar, and, pistol, what do they call them? Pistol squats where you go down on one leg all the way to the floor and come back up. And then, of course, planche push-ups. Those are really advanced moves, and it's going to take a long time to go from zero to completing that. So 92 weeks is probably reasonable. It's probably actually realistic. I'm actually in pretty good shape, and I can't do those things. I cannot do a pistol squat. I cannot do a planche push-up. So all those things are my goal. I would like to be able to do those things. Um, I can bench press pretty heavily. I can squat okay. I don't like to do squats, so I've never been great at them. But stretching, my shoulder was always really tight. One of the basic moves that they do, and I'm doing warm-ups right now. So um, one of the basic moves that they do, this one hurt so bad when I first did it, and this is what they do at the beginning, is you just have your hands pointed backwards, and then you push back. My right shoulder was terrible at this. In fact, it's still the tightest of my two shoulders, but it has loosened up a lot. I can do this for a lot longer than I used to, and it used to hurt a lot more to come out of it, even after 15, 20 seconds. Now I can kind of do this for a couple of minutes. Shoulder does loosen up, but my right shoulder has always been really bad. Um, it's been getting better though. So Cali Move has helped with that for sure. And this is something I like to do anyway, because I need to get my shoulder as loose as possible while I go into these next exercises. Um, but yeah, twisting back and that, it's always been really challenging. So you reach your foot, you mean like stretching down to this level? There is definitely a lot of, they do a lot of things that kind of help with some of that. There is a, what do you call it, active move. I think it's active move or active stretching. I don't know. They have a program special for that, which just allows you to learn to move and kind of get your flexibility built up a little bit, which active stretching is more useful than static stretching. Active stretching being when you do a regular stretch, you don't really do anything, right? You just kind of slowly push into it. Kind of like I was doing. This is a static stretch where I go up and I just hold it. This is static stretching. But they do have this is just kind of getting you going. It's only meant for a few seconds at a time, unless they're really trying to push that. But ultimately, an active stretch is kind of coming up, down. You're flexing the muscles, putting them to work while you're actually in progress. And then they do one where they come down here and then they push forward, up, down, push forward. So this is just trying to get mobility built into your stretching. And all that is better because that's what you're going to use, right? Because how often are you doing a static effort with your muscles? It's pretty rare. So they're building a lot of that in. And I really want to build. I'm gonna. This is test week, so you only do four exercises and one set of each. It's really slow, so I'm doing all this extra stuff. Today will be a chance for me to talk a lot because um, I'm not going to be doing as much work as I normally do, and it's hard for me to do that. It's hard for me to do workouts where I don't do very much because it drives me crazy. I like to feel the burn a little bit. So, okay, so first things first, let's do the rows. So this is a hanging row. The biggest flaw I see in the beginning effort of Cali Move, the beginning workouts, is I don't know that it's very home gym friendly for a beginner. So the beginner workouts, I can understand part two needing a little bit more gear. I can understand part one, part three, part four, maybe needing a little bit more gear. But they have some moves that kind of require gear that not everybody has. For one, not everybody can do, how do you do a body row at home without rings or parallel bars, right? I mean, most beginners who have those things. uh, I don't think, I mean, I don't know how else. I mean, you could get some dumbbells and you could do standing rows, those. Yeah, you don't have those. And I'm just saying it's very common for uh, home gyms not to have that. There are things you can do that are going to work those same muscles. So if you have some dumbbells, you can do, straight, you make sure your back is straight and you do rows. So this is kind of like that, but you got to think like you're on parallel bars. So you're pulling it up. It's a low back pull. Now you can do dumbbells, but the thing is, most people don't have very heavy dumbbells. And the whole thing is you're going to try to learn how to do this with your body. So to start, you'll notice on body rows, he has elevation changes. So if you have rings like I have, which of course nobody has rings, this is like super uncommon. I actually bought myself a pair specifically so I could do this. Plus, I've always wanted to have set. But again, this is not the first piece of gear anybody thinks of. But the nice thing about rings is if you've got a pull-up bar, again, who has a pull-up bar installed on the roof? I just did this. I've had this rack for a while, but I can't do certain things with it because it moves because I haven't attached it to the ground. Some people do, and it does have a, well, actually, it doesn't have. Like I thought it had holes that you could drill it and attach it to the floor. I would have to get brackets and pin it to the floor. But this is a concrete floor. I don't want to drill holes into the concrete. So when I do certain workouts where my legs are moving or anything, it kind of moves because it's the shifting weight. So I put this in so I could do things that I could do shifting weight workout. But again, this is not common. This is not a common setup. You see these guys on YouTube and Twitch or whatever who are doing workouts, and they have these fancy gyms with racks and all this crap. And I say, well, that's great. Who has that at home? So beginners, I don't think can really do easily without having a good setup. There are ways to work around it. Okay, so I would recommend something like this. This little bar costs about, I don't know, $50, and it's got this adjustable piece in it. This could work pretty good. Get yourself some decent bands. You could start off with some easy bands like those, and I say those. Those are the common ones. The thick ones like you saw me doing the back stretches with. These are a little heavier duty, but they work the same. So this will give you a similar starting point, and you can do these. Now this is an inverted row exactly like they're doing, except I'm using a band. These are iron infidel bands. They're a lot heavier, so you're going to get weights that are more intense. So these are actually pretty good. And this is a nice cheap way to probably get yourself started with being able to do a more ring-like workout where you're doing the rows and you're building up the same kind of workout. Now these iron infidels could probably go up to, I think they go up to like 30 pounds, 35. If I really were to switch to like this one, this is one of the bands that comes with it. It's really big. I don't even know if I'd use this. This has got a massive amount of resistance. I don't know if I've ever even tried to use this one. I've never tried to use this band for anything really. It'd probably pull me back up. Okay, I thought you do a little bit, but that's a heavy band. And but the nice thing about that is you can get some good resistance off of those bands. Installing one of these, if you can find a spot, you got to make sure it goes into a stud. Okay. If you have a spot on a wall that you're willing to do your workouts and you want to install something, this is really nice. I just found this. I have this pole on this. This used to be a bar, and this beam here works really good because it's solid wood, so I'm able to plug into that. But you have to find a beam in your wall, find a stud finder and put one of those on. It's not that expensive, but it's really kind of a nice thing because you can put bands on it, you can change the elevation, and you can really kind of get a lot of work. And most of the progressions on here start with you upright. So you're basically up, and as you get more and more advanced, you lean further and further back. If you're using bands, you would just use heavier and heavier bands. It's a cheaper way than, because if you buy this thing, this is like $195, and really, I can't put bands on it because it'll pull the rack forward if it gets too heavy. But you can do the rows on here, and this is what I started off doing my rows on before I got this set up. And you can just do low rows on it like this, like that. And you just pull up as high as you can, and then you come back down and you go slow and up. And you can do leg raises, hanging leg raises, all that stuff off of this rack. But this rack, I think, was like 190 some dollars. So it's a little bit more expensive. This is like the beginner version of a whole rack setup, a true rack where you're putting barbells and other junk on there. And that's like the advanced version. I don't even have that. I don't have room for that. I do have an Olympic barbell I use occasionally for leg workouts, but even then I can only do so much because I don't want to put it overhead, so they're like deadlifts and stuff. And I only have maybe 200 pounds of weights. So yeah, I have an intermediate home gym. It's not anywhere near maybe even sub intermediate, but I'm advancing. I'm trying to get the things that fit in my room, fit in my workout space. Yeah, that's what everybody has to do, right? You got to work at some out. But there are ways to work around some of Cali Move's limitations. But like I said, they have things where you're doing parallel bar workouts, like dips. It's a beginner workout, so you have to find other ways to do dips. You can do tricep push-ups, which are kind of dips are basically these, right? So you're coming down like that. Now, if you want to do, um, you can do bench dips where you sit on a chair, you put your hands on a chair or something like that, and you push back like that. So it's a body weight dip, but your feet are more on the ground. You can make it more challenging by lifting one leg, but you can't do a full body weight, right? Because you can't get your feet off the ground. But it's still a good way to progress. As a beginner, you're going to be looking for those easier or lighter ways. Because what they do is he calls them assisted dips, where I can put a band on here and then I tuck my knees into the band, and then it holds my weight, lightening me up while I'm doing the dips. And same thing when you're doing assisted pull-ups. If you've got a pull-up bar, which by the way, you can get a pull-up bar for, I don't know, 30 bucks, and they go on your bathroom door. I'm sure you've probably seen them. But then you put like a band. This is the smallest of the Iron Infidel bands. Um, then you assist yourself with a band. So this will take about, I think it's about 15 pounds off my weight. I think I measured it as around 15 pounds. Um, so this will make me weigh 15 pounds less. And the reason I use this is because a lot of these pull-ups that you're doing are power pull-ups. So it's not just going down to here and coming up slow. It's going up fast. So you're trying to work the power. So I use the assisted sometimes to help me train my muscles to do the power lift. I can do a few power lifts without this, but It's a matter of trying to work the quantities in there. And at first, I couldn't do power lifts at all. Oh, no problem, no problem. I couldn't do power lifts at all when I started. I do a pull up and they were all slow. So I had to go to a lighter weight so I could learn to fire those fast twitch fibers. It's like sprinting. A lot of people, you'll see them go, they've never ran, they've never really been a runner, and they go out to do a sprint where they basically just run as hard as they can. And it really just looks like a fast jog. And a lot of that's because people aren't used to sprinting and there's the fast twitch fibers in their body aren't used to going hard. Most people have a sprint speed that they just haven't used in so long that their body doesn't know how to fire up. So it would take a matter of weeks or months of training of trying to do those sprints to teach your body to fire up. A person who runs long distance like myself, I run 8, 10, 15 miles throughout the year multiple times. I run regularly outside. The thing is, if I go to a track and go to run as hard as I can, I'm going to get really sore, even though I only ran 100 yards a few times because I'm not used to firing up those fast twitch fibers. Chubby cheeks. Cardio. A lot of people say you can't do, cardio doesn't burn fat. Ultimately, cardio does burn fat, but it's how you balance that out with your eating when you work out. So a lot of times people will go do a lot of cardio, and then what thing is about cardio is it ramps up your appetite sometimes, and people will actually eat to compensate what they burned. So that's kind of problematic. So that's why I say building muscle is better because it doesn't necessarily ramp your appetite as much, but having muscle burns more fat. But chubby cheeks is just a diet and exercise. I mean, you're going to get there, but specifically, what can you do? If you're talking about these cheeks, it's a lot easier because you do squats and lunges and do the kind of things that'll help tighten up the muscles. But again, the fat itself burns off with the calorie burn. So the more effort you put into the workouts, the more you're going to gain out of the fat loss. But face cheeks are tougher. That's mostly because there's not really exercise for this. I guess you could talk a lot. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but it might make your jaw sore. But I think ultimately you just need to start working out. The more cardio you do, the more fat you burn, the more you're going to learn. Your face will slim up just like everything else. It takes focus though. I mean, you got to stay at it. I always tell people, don't work out for a goal, work out for life. That's kind of what it is. Because it's got to be like brushing your teeth, going to bed, eating dinner. Um, Just Dance is cool. My wife loves that game. I like it. It's a good game. Um, Another game that they actually have, they have a Wii Fit. The Wii Fit? No, it's Wii. It's another. You get a Ring Fit. You get this ring. I actually have it right here. And they have this whole workout set up where you use a ring and you do sit-ups and crunches and all kinds of stuff in it. And it's got a game. It's gamified where you're fighting monsters at the end of each thing as part of the challenge. It's kind of a cool game too. But it works in actual exercise moves using the ring and stuff. That's pretty. All right, I gotta get to work. What time is it? I've spent 22 minutes. Let's do my first workout. All right, so first is the rings. Um, this is a body row. I use the rings because I can go pretty low with it. Whoops. You know what? I don't know why I extended this all the way. I think it was because I was going to do a different kind of exercise. I actually need this to be higher for this part of the workout. I put these back where I had them. I don't know why I pulled them down. What was I thinking I was going to do? I'm trying to remember. I don't know. Maybe I was just demoing. I don't know what I was doing. But hopefully I've got this in the right place. All right. So I can go a little lower. You see, these are lower than those, and that's why I use these. I try to, hopefully I have it low enough. See, this is probably still not low enough. But once I stiffen up, it's not so bad. Now these are 2 counts. Supposed to go up slow. 1, 2, 1, 2. I think I have to record 19. I feel like I could have done more, but I was starting to get pretty. I wasn't quite coming up all the way, and I don't want to count broken ones. Yeah, that's my yoga mat. I really like this one. I've had this for years, and it's held up awesome. Um, it's been a really good one for a lot of stuff I've been doing. I think ultimately we'll be doing 5. So I'll hold it there. And I'll say 19. Now you'll see the weight I put on here. That to me is push-up weight. My feet are on the ground. They support some of your weight, so it's not lifting your entire body. You're lifting about probably 3/4 of your body weight when you're at full extension like I was. The higher you go, the less weight you're lifting. So if I had these set up high, like I was, maybe that's what it was. Maybe I was going to demo a higher version. But when the rings are higher, when you lean back, you're only leaning back, about so far. That's a lot less weight because most of the weight is on your feet. Just like using a light band versus a heavy band. So you're using the more of your weight that's on the ground, the less you're pulling. And the progression is to slowly drop your body. I have pretty much maxed out dropping my body. If I want to really add weight at that point, I got to add the vest. And I do have a vest. Weight vest is great for adding extra weight once you want to get further on and you feel like you're getting good numbers in there. And they're telling you to do 3 to 8 or 8 to 15, and you're constantly breaking the maximum level. It's time to start adding a vest so that you can fall back into that level, but with more power, with more weight, so you can build up the muscle and strength and stay within their window. I like That's what I like to do. I like to try to stay in the window, and there's a number of reasons for that. Um, One is time. It's like if I'm constantly breaking the top, that means I'm burning more time on the effort. And I'm gonna. So this is a 5 to 10 minute rest between exercises. That's a lot of rest. Basically, and it's only for this week. This is test week. They do long breaks so that you have full muscle, I don't know, functionality when you go on to the next exercise. So it's not a norm, but the test weeks are like that. They're just kind of measuring you, or gives you a chance to measure yourself and not be exhausted in the process. But I probably won't wait that long. I'm thinking 2.5 minutes, and I probably already burned a minute or so before I even started my watch. But maybe even 2. So maybe I'll give myself till 3. I don't know. 3 minutes is a lot, and I'm switching workouts or switching exercises. So next I'll be doing a push-up. Okay, so with push-ups, the standard push-up is, you know, kind of having your hands out to medium, to out here, like you're going to do a bench press, right? So this is a standard push-up. You come all the way down, all the way up. Now, with Cali Move, one thing that a lot of people who do push-ups do, they don't extend their scapula or around their scapula. And that, to me, in that, just adding that adds a lot of challenge to the workout. So a standard push-up, again, you straighten out your body, you come down, come up. That's a push-up. But with Cali Move, this is a push-up. I'm not rounding my lower back. I'm rounding my upper back and extending the scapula so it's high up as I can. So when you come down, come up and round that back, you should feel your core tighten, your scapula tighten. That's a full push-up. Now, to make it even more challenging, and this is what Cali Move does a lot of, you can start bringing your hands in. The more they come in, now you're doing like a diamond push-up, the old classic military thing where your hands are kind of like facing each other almost. You're making like a diamond between your thumbs and your finger, and you do a standard push-up like this. That's a diamond push-up. I'm not a fan of diamond push-ups for a few reasons. One, I don't know, it feels like it puts a lot of stress on my wrist. And it's awkward for my shoulder, which is, as I mentioned before, is kind of a problematic child for me, my problem child. But when you want to do a planche push-up, or the ultimate goal of all this is to do planche push-ups, right? Where you're lifting your entire body up. So the first phase for me in doing that is learning how to do the tuck planche, which I'm really bad at, but I can do it for a few seconds. The worst of all tuck planches, which is super tuck planche, where my knees are almost on my chest, and I lift myself up off the ground. For short periods of time. I can do about 15 seconds there, but I'm just demoing. Um, so if I want to get good at that though, and start doing my body much higher with different things, I gotta get better at the push-ups. So when I do a push-up here, I'm gonna basically go into what I call them planche push-up, but it's more like assisted planche push-up because my toes are assisting me by taking weight off. Where you come in, you're doing that same formation. So when you're going to do a tuck or a planche, thumb straight forward, right up against your side. Now it's the same formation, but I'm trying to go higher up because I need the room for my legs to extend. But ultimately, get that same formation going, get your elbows facing backwards. You will have a little engagement in your biceps, so you want to be bent a little bit. But ultimately, you then extend your legs, go as far forward as you can, getting up even to the point where your body's holding yourself up on your toes. Like that. And that's what I'll be doing in about, well, now I'm going to give myself a little bit of a break. But it's been about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So I am doing the 5 to 10 minute. Yeah, they can be hard. What does the workout app thingy effective? Um, oh, you're talking about my JFit, the app I'm showing that holds my weight counts. Yes, I use JFit a lot. I store all my workouts or most of them in there. Um, I love JFit. There's a lot of apps out there that do that, but you want to have something. It's my digital log. I prefer a digital log over paper. Some people just use a notebook. Problem is with a notebook is you always like flipping back. This one will show you what you did last time. It'll show you what your max was. It shows you, you can go back and look at historic dates really easy. so much easier to use a digital log than it is to use a notebook log. I used to have a notebook and it just had pages of stuff I never looked at. I use this for everything. It has a lot of exercises in them, a lot of replication, but doesn't have all of them. You still have to add your own, but I do that sometimes. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started on my push-ups. Now, these are actual, this will be my actual attempt. Again, a lot of times I like to do a weighted vest to add a little bit more. Um, my goal here is as many as I can. That's what the test is. It's maximum effort for one set. Get as many as you can. This is going to be my entire weight. I actually think I'm more than the 135 when I'm fully extended like that. Probably closer to 150. I haven't measured it. You can. It's just more difficult, so I haven't done it in a while. So here we go. This is my actual attempt at push-ups, as many as I can do, and we'll see how it goes. Not as many as I hoped. I feel like I did 25 just last week, but it's real easy to make this really difficult. And I think I made it maximum difficult. I may have been further back when I did 25. Any change in weight that you put on your feet is going to change the difficulty. And I feel like I did a really good job on this one of maximizing the weight on my arms. And that burned me out. Wow, I could not get past 19 on that. Whew. Hey, you have a good one, Clark Val, boy. Uh, hope you have a good day. Whew, 135, 19. Could have been better. Hopefully next time I'll do better. All right, switch jump lunge. Let's go ahead and hit rest. Oops. Nope. What do I do? Oh, I hate when I do that. Okay, so all right, so now on to switch jump lunge. Just basically going to be doing as much as I can with the switch jump. It's just a lunge with a hop. That's really all it is. There's your lunges where you go down and you just step back. This is your normal lunge, right? With a switch jump lunge, when you come up, it's this. You want to land on your toe, but go down on your heel. So you don't want to land on your heel because it puts shock in your knees. So when you do the switch, you jump like that. Let's try it again. Go down. See, I landed with on my toe, but when I come down, my weight is on my heel. This is so that you can center that weight on the muscles that are pushing, get that good grip on the ground, and it also, I don't know, focuses the weight at more center between your heel and your knee. But you don't want the impact on your heel. No impact. Don't land on your heel if you can help it, because that just puts a lot of impact point pressure, and that's where you start having knee, ankle, hip problems. Don't do it. So when you run, I used to have lots of knee pain. My hips used to hurt when I first started running. Um, and then I said, you know what? I'm going to try the Vibram shoes. Because I'd heard that they were pretty good, blah, 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 for knee and hip pain. So I got them. And I went about it the smart way because a lot of people think, oh, I can run a marathon. I'll just throw my Vibrams on and go run a marathon. And then they injure themselves. They get uh, foot injuries and muscle strains and all kinds of things go wrong. It's because Vibrams are going to change the way you run. And they change you for the better, but you've got to teach your body to do that. Most people who run in thick-soled shoes that have the incline where you're thinner in front than in back, they they used to using their heels. They run, they smack on their heel first, and they use that big cushion, and it tries to absorb pressure, but it doesn't absorb enough. They have knee and they have hip and they have other injuries. They switch to Vibrams and they try to run the same way. So they injure their foot because they're smacking their heel on the ground. And because it's kind of weird the way that it works, it doesn't like absorb and then roll into your toe. It actually hits, smacks your heel, and then bam, smacks your toe. So you get a double smack. So putting a lot of stress on the bone on your feet. The muscles on your feet are getting really worked because they're not used to doing all the lifting. Your calves are getting trashed because they're not used to holding your body up that way. And people get hurt because they try to do too much at once. When you get Vibrams, which are the shoes with toes in them, they're super flat. They have toes. They have shoes that have no toes that use the same soles, same design, but they have no toes. But it's not Vibram. They're another company that uses Vibram soles. They actually buy the material from Vibram, use the same sole on their shoe, and they look more like regular shoes. But I like the toe ones. I've gotten used to them. Go slow. You walk around the house in them. You learn to walk. Impact on your midsole. You wander around. You get used to them. You go run 500 yards. You get used to doing that. Again, you try to land on your midsole, not on. Think about running on your toes almost. And you come down. Your heels should rarely even hit the ground, or if they do, it's only for a split second before you push back off. And there's no impact. If you learn how to run correctly in Vibrams, you're going to get really sore feet and sore calves, but your knees and hips are going to start hurting less. And if you're already fit enough, you don't have to worry about the cardio training. So add your muscle strength, and it'll happen pretty quick, 2 to 3 weeks maybe. You're going to be able to run several miles. Maybe in a month and a half, you'll be running, you'll be running a lot further, but you're just going to have to build up slowly. And if you get to that point where you can't keep your heel off the ground on impact, then that's it. That should be your stopping point for the run. Don't keep going. And then kind of let yourself recover and go do it again. And you can go further. And every time now I run, my heels barely touch the ground. They come down, I'm up, and down, I'm up. I can run. I've run full marathons. I've run, lots of distances, uphill, downhill. You just got to learn how to run in them correctly. Knee and hip pain, very rare for me. I don't even know the last time I had pain to where it hurt to move my knees. It'll wear the cartilage out slower, although I am starting to get a little bit of clicking in my knee, but I've been doing it for running for years, so you're going to get somewhere. All right, I think my time's up. What's the next exercise? Oh, switch lunge. All right, let's do this. Now, this is a max exercise. I feel like I'm going to be, I think I did just last week. In fact, my last time I did switch lunge, I think I did 40, which is a lot. That's 40 per leg. I don't want to do 40 per leg, so I'm going to add weight. This will add 20 pounds, I think. I have it set at 20. It's not exact. I put it on the scale. I think it's like 19.8 or something. It's pretty close, but not quite. Look at this. My heart rate is at 87. This is a serious amount of rest time. All right. Straight back. Hands could be anywhere. You could have them out in front of you, back, wherever. Just whatever allows you to keep your form. $15. Whew. 25. All right, I gotta stop at 30. With this puppy, that's a lot. Maybe I had a couple more in me. I could have maybe done 33, 34, but I was getting pretty burned. I don't have weight on this. I should probably put in a weighted switch lunge because I can't track the fact that I'm adding weight, which makes it hard. All right, so only one exercise left. Hanging leg raise. Okay, so I've never measured this one. Definitely don't need a weight vest for this. Ooh, my legs are like jello. It's the only thing I've done today with legs. Now, oftentimes, I'll start my day off with some running, or before I even log on to stream, I'll do bike, or I'll do running, or I'll go outside and run 5 miles, whatever. Usually 3 to 5. To me, that's warm-up zone. On the bike, it might be 5 to 10, depending on what I feel like. But 10, it's about the same range of time. So 30 to 45 minutes. Now, the switch lunges will get my heart rate up. No doubt about it. But everything else, not so much. It's just not enough of the big muscle group. This is a huge muscle group to be working. It's a lot of glutes. It's a little cardio because you got power move. That power move, the jump, is, well, that's switch lunges, what do you call it, jump squats, what do they call them, side power lunges, Awesome. They're all great for firing those fast twitch fibers. If you do a lot of that stuff, you'll probably be a better sprinter. In fact, for sprinting, those are probably ideal. Box jumps. By the way, I ordered a box. Oh, get this. I ordered a box. It's got 20, 24, and 30-inch heights. And I guess it's supposed to have gotten here already. I may have to cancel it and reorder it from somebody else. But it's supposed to have gotten here Saturday. It did not. So I'm probably going to have to cancel it. But here's the deal. The My wife saw a video of the exact same box online. A guy put it on its highest, the 30-inch. So it's basically a box that changes dimensions. So when it's on the 30-inch height, I think he turned it sideways. So it was thinner this way, okay? And when he jumped on it, it kicked out from underneath him and he fell flat on his back. I was like, oh, good, the box kicks out from underneath you. But as I'm thinking about it, the best way to have jumped, he should not have jumped on it that way. He should have turned it long width, so that it would have been turned like that. And then when he jumped on it, the pressure would have had the full weight of the box holding it. It's not that it couldn't hold him vertically, it's just that he had too much forward momentum and it kicked the box out in front of him because it was too thin that way. So ideally, the lowest, of course, the whole box is on the ground, so pretty much any direction you lie it is going to be fine because it's low. The minimum height, less leverage for it to flip. And then when you go up to the second level height, it's probably about the same, although you still want to turn it where the longer part of the box is in line with you. Now, granted, you have less vertical location to step, but there's only so much you can do there. But I think you can minimize that. I doubt I'll be using the 30-inch height because I measured 30 inches and my head's pretty much touching the roof. So from here to there is pretty close to 30 inches. I measured and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to jump on that anyway. Um, so I'll probably be doing the 24-inch. Even 20 inches higher than the chair, which is what I've been using, which is about 18 inches. So anything more is better because I'm trying to do it to work on like the step up. So I want to get it higher so that I can start working the glutes better, get a little bit higher lift. All right, so I'm at the minimum time frame for my last exercise, which is 5 to 10 minutes. Last exercise is hanging leg raise. So I guess I don't need that at all. Really all this is grabbing a hold of the bar, dangling yourself, and lifting your legs. Now you can do this, there's varying versions of these progressions. The more your legs are bent, the easier it is. Even a little bend is easier than straight bend, or fully straight, no bend. Um, and There's a big difference. Trust me, I can barely do no bend at all. It's not that I can't lift my legs that way, it's just that my body's not used to it. I don't have the core, I don't even know if it's core strength, but core focus. It's just like doing the planche tuck planche. Uh, it's it's hard to learn to engage all those muscles, and when your legs are super straight, it's actually kind of challenging to do. But I think I'm about ready to go. Maximum leg raises. I used up a little bit of my grip there. I was hanging slightly, making excuses. Okay, and really you can do this straight arm. So if hanging is like your arms are burning out, you've been doing other stuff and you want to do some core, you can do straight arm if you have parallel bars. You could do straight arm stuff. This, see how my legs are not, there we go. So that's straight. And that's what you're trying to do. And you can do maximum that way. Great core exercise is ab roller. Get yourself an ab roller. I love the ab roller. Oh man. Be careful though, if you haven't done ab roller before, anything like it before, like some people do walkouts, that's like it. But if you've never done that, go slow. I think I kind of tore my ab a little bit when I first did them. I was not used to doing it, and my abs like, what the heck is this? But I started doing them, and yeah, I really, 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 really like the ab roller. So give that one a go sometime. I'll show you what else I might try here in a minute. Just putting this up. Yes, you could do straight arms. If you have rings, again, not most people have these, but if you have them, you can do straight arms here. Now, keep in mind, this is a lot harder than just doing them on there because those are stable. They're not going to move. And until you start getting that straight arm stability on this, which by the way, I am not great at yet. So I don't have as much straight arm stability as I would like. But so as I get tired, you'll notice my arms start to shake and then everything goes to pot. So I couldn't go very far. I only got 9. It switched to the normal. Guess 19 is my magic number. 19. Now that's combined. I did that plus the rings. I did both. Um, I could not do that 20th one. I could not get my legs high enough. So we're going to call it 19 and call it good. We'll see how. Now you do all of those, all the stuff you do in test week. Hey, Reg, how you doing? All the things I do in test week today and the next 2 times, which is either the next 2 days or the next time I can go do them all. I might even do them tomorrow. I'll go 1, 2, 3. Maybe I'll go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, get test week out of the way. Or maybe I'll just go Monday, Tuesday and try to get all the test stuff done. And then Wednesday, I could do an actual workout. Friday, I'll be all out of whack. I got to figure out how I would do that. But either way, all these exercises that I'm doing during test week should be in the actual uh, final phase of this workout, which is all the next 4 weeks. They'll be repetitive. The 3 workouts will probably use all this. Well, the first 2 days will probably be identical, Monday and Wednesday, with a light change, is what they usually do. Like one of them's a superset. We'll do them 5 sets, which is one thing that's new. 5 sets on all of them. So I'll actually be doing 20 to 25 sets every time I do it now. It was all the way up through this week or this next phase, they were always 15 to 20 sets, which I always thought wasn't enough. A good workout to me is 25 to 30 sets. Of course, getting in there is harder, it takes longer, so I'm going to have to be better at my getting started. I got to start at 6:30 or so rather than 7:30. So I have plenty of time to get it done on time and be good to go. We'll see. But that is essentially day 1 of phase 4, the final phase of Cali Move beginner level class or course. So we're getting there. Probably by the end of February, I'll be done with beginner and I can go on to stage two or beginner intermediate or whatever part two is. And we're going to see what that's all about. I don't know, probably about the same length of time, another 4 months or four phases, whatever you want to call it. And then we'll be moving on to um, three, four, and five. I have the first three, so I'll probably get through three sections by September. I don't know, what is that? Three? Yeah, maybe. I'll get all done with these by September. It's a 2-year course, so I'd imagine the first three are more than, close to a year, right? And then the last ones might be longer. They might take a year. But it's not fully 2 years, it's only 92 weeks. So, what did I think of test day? I hate test day. Not because I don't mind being tested. I just hate that it's such a minimal workout. Just, I always feel like I didn't do much. I'll probably do more throughout the day. As this is getting done, I'm going to probably wrap up, get ready, log on to work, that kind of thing. I'll probably throw in a few more exercises. I'll do some more leg lifts. I'll do some more abs. Just a few extra things to feel like I'm doing something. I'll probably do some pull-ups just to kind of get those muscles all involved. Um, Day two testing, which I might just do tomorrow, just so I can keep things moving, involves, let's see, this one's complete. And here we go. This is day two. Superman's, jump squats, crunches, and swimmers. Wow. Wow, that's going to be the hardest thing on there is jump squats, and these other ones are a lot of floor work. That's going to be interesting. Huh. Yeah, that's going to be. I might have to do both. That's just too easy. What is the last day's thing? Some assisted lunges, some dips, step ups, and glutes. Yeah, maybe I can get them all in there. I'll have to figure out a good combination for doing all those together, and I'll do all both of them on the next one. If not tomorrow, then Wednesday. Um, because I like to go swim if I can on Tuesday. Go do some kind of cardio. That's it for me. That's it for today. Until next time, stay fit, stay healthy.